welcome to the last of the Christmas Advent Calendar videos. As you can see, it snowed, so I'm all wrapped up here. Even the badgers have got themselves sorted. Look, she's wearing a nice little hot water bottle to keep her warm. She did have one underneath as well, but she couldn't move, and it was keeping her away from the snacks, so we had to get rid of that one. But she's kept the one on her back, and she's here ready. Look, she's still got her little crown on. She absolutely loves being queen, and Phil loves the idea of being king. But there's actually nothing for them to do today, because amazingly didn't really have a big influence on this particular thing that I'm about to talk about. It's quite funny really, because they have had such a big effect on so many things. This is one thing. No, not really. And when I say they, I don't mean it was them specifically, but I mean the period that they lived didn't have that big an effect. So hopefully you've already opened the gift, which I sent, and when I say opened, I mean opened a bag and opened the thing inside, just in case you hadn't realised that that is a second wrapping, not just a board game. And inside you will find out what it is about. And just in case you haven't, I'll let you do that now. We'll just talk amongst ourselves, okay? Just right. So hopefully you've done that now. So you'll see it's music, and I just need to specify it's not about 1980s pop music. It's actually about carols, but I didn't think you'd be particularly into a carol CD. So carols, so much part of Christmas, aren't they? If you think of Christmas, you think of carols. Think of carols, think of Christmas. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, what about pantomimes? You only get those at Christmas. Why not those as well? Because they are very much just a Christmas thing. Well, I could do, but I didn't want to make it too long. So I could do pantomime next year if you're still interested. So I could do it next year.
Oh, no, she won't.
Oh, yes, I will. Remind me.
Remind her.
There you go. See, they know, whoever that is. Yeah, remind me. Yeah. Anyway, carols. So carols didn't start off as religious things. They weren't there for Christmas. They were there all to do with, well, as I've mentioned before, the important things were, well, staying alive. It was the food, growing food. And there were 4 points of the year that they would want to celebrate. I'll use the word celebrate, but it wasn't, that might not be quite the correct word, but they would have a party to celebrate or to encourage the world to change and become warmer and brighter and whatnot. So this particular time of year, you'd have the 21st of December. It's what's called the winter solstice, and it is the shortest day of the year. Every day of the year, the day will either get shorter or longer by a couple of minutes. And there are 4 that are quite important. You've got the winter solstice, where it is the shortest day. You've got the summer solstice, that's in June, 21st of June, that is the longest day. And the word solstice comes from the word that means stop the sun. So it's not so much the sun is stopped, but it's like the sun is moving the way it's moving and creating that. And then does stop, and then it goes the opposite way. And so from the 21st of June, every day is slightly shorter until it gets to 21st of December, when it is the shortest. And from then on, it becomes slightly longer. And that is a big thing, that in particular, for the day to get longer, because that means they're getting closer to the times when they can grow stuff and eat. And let's face it, we all like to eat, don't we? Yes, we all like to eat. In between those, so you've got 21st of March, 21st of September, that's the ones in the middle between, and those two are called the equinoxes. And equinox, it's from a word that means equal. And on those 2 days, the day and the night are equal in length. And although I don't know how important really that was, because it wasn't changing where it was going, but they used it as an excuse for a party. Yay, party. And it was probably called wassailing. I mean, it probably different places it called different things, but wassailing. And it would involve dancing around, drinking a lot of alcohol, which, I mean, you know nothing about alcohol, and just basically have a good old time dancing, singing. And they would often actually go around the local area and as a group, and just get other people involved and just have a good old time, just celebrating and encouraging the world to change or things to be better or whatnot. And they just, because there was one 21st of December, instead of actually doing Christ's actual birthday, which we really do not know, and there were a lot of theories when it was, but they just thought, you know what, how about the December solstice? They're already having a bit of a party, so yeah, let's stick it in there. Makes it nice and easy, no one gets confused, and we don't have to give them more holiday because they've already got one. Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Now, the origin of the word carol is quite interesting, because it's the same sort of thing. It's to do with dancing to music, and in fact, the carol actually comes from the word that means flute player. So, I mean, you know recorder, don't you? That's what they mean by flute, that not today's flute that's sort of long, that goes out to the side and is made of metal. These will be little things made out of wood. They were really, apart from things like drums and shaky things, they were really the first instruments, because they were easy to make, cheap to make, which is obviously very important when you've got a lot of really poor, what they call peasants. So it wasn't just the rich who could do those, anyone could do that. And it means basically dancing in a circle to flutes. And that is what carol meant. The interesting thing is, though, we also have the name carol, and you might think it's the same origin, but actually it's a completely different language that it came from. And it's not a big surprise when you think about it, the number of different sounds and words we have. Also, there are only so many sounds you can make. Well, I don't know, just, you know, all the different letters and that. There are only so many. So carol as a name actually comes from the German, meaning man or husband, which is quite interesting, considering in England we pretty much only use it for women. There have been a few carols in, I think actually more often in America. I should have looked this up and I didn't. But there are a couple in America that are male, but to be fair, they actually use a lot of names for both sexes. But in England, carol is always female. There is, I think, again, historically there might have been the odd man, but isn't that weird that it stayed with women but not with men, even though it actually means man? Oh, I love language. It's so great the way we use it is really interesting. So carol singing became a religious thing, and it used to be about having fun, and now it's more about celebrating Christ and Christianity, etc. And people still go out in groups singing. They just do it without the alcohol. Well, sometimes they do have a little bit of alcohol, but they don't get rowdy. They don't get oh. And if they're going to be getting things off people, they tend not to be getting drinks of alcohol off them, but they'd be getting money and doing it for charity. And on from a personal point of view, I've got a little story about carol singing. I used to be in the school choir, which was actually a very successful choir, and we had awards for what we did. I remember one year we went out to the rich area to try and get loads of dosh off them to give to charity. And they were busy giving us, bits of money, and we were doing very well because we were obviously good because we were a choir. So we actually had learned the whole songs, loads of songs, and of course all the different parts of the song. So it was really, really sounded quite nice. We ended up at one, and this bloke comes out, and you could see on his face he had a trick up his sleeve, and he sort of comes out, right, okay, yeah, I'll give you some money to sing your song. I want you to sing Silent Night. And we all thought, oh, that's it, we can do that. We all know Silent Night. I want you to sing Silent Night in the original language, which is German. You could practically hear his head going, got him. I don't have to give them any money. I don't have to give them 30 quid for singing this song because I've asked them to do it in German. Unfortunately for him, there were two of us who knew it. My friend and myself. Oh, that's the wrong way around, isn't it? My friend and myself. Now, I can't remember why she knew it, but I knew it because, of course, Dad was German, and it wasn't that he taught me it, but Mum was keen that we should get some idea of Dad's background, and had taught me a little bit. And because I was interested myself and I'd learned the story of how Silent Night was written, I learned it myself. So, also handy, I sung the lower part and she could sing the higher part. So we even managed to do it in a really nice way. And anyway, just to make you suffer, I'm going to sing you a verse of it because I do still remember. Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht, alles schläft, einsam wacht, nur das traute hochheilige Paar. Holde Knabe im looking Geha, schlaf in himmlischer Ruhe, schlaf in himmlischer Ruhe. This bloke gobsmacked. Well, okay, fair enough. Hand in the pocket, 30 quid. And we're both going, yeah, we just picked up 30 quid for their charity. And even better, managed to get this bloke who thought he was going to get us. So, sorry about the singing. My voice isn't what it was. Anyway, that is the one for today and the last one in the series of 4. I hope you've been enjoying them, and everyone wants to say goodbye.